me. So today I'm going to be doing rating executions from Danganronpa 1, 2, and 3. Warning, this will have spoilers through the entire series. And so it's gonna have who gets executed. It's not gonna have who dies, but you're gonna know who gets executed. And it spoils it. So if you don't wanna see, if you don't want to know who gets executed and stuff in the games, if you haven't played or you don't want to see them, then I suggest you don't watch this video. Also, I am not doing Junko's very first death when she attacks Monokuma, or the game in between the first and second game, because even though there are some quote-unquote executions, there are more deaths, and there's only, like, for me personally, you only see one death, and that's not by Monokuma, as the other 3 games are. And this is from my personal preference. I have watched at the end only the execution, except for like 2, because I was still getting used to it, and I saw Leon's, and then Kurumi's. Also, I apologize in my voice with saying the names. I have the paper in front of me with how the names are said and everything. Well, not how to say it, but how to spell it. So I'm trying my best. Also, I'm just nervous. Warning, also, this is the last warning before I actually get into the video. These deaths are gory. And I will kind of explain at a certain point, probably like what happens. But if you want to find out for yourself, I recommend watching all the deaths and executions. If you've already played the game, you're going to know what the deaths are. But if you want to see them executions and deaths. But if you want to see them again, and these are going to include in between the first 2 games, I recommend you watch the video. So, with that said, and you've been warned, let's get on with the video. So, first on my list is Kyo. Because, well, 1, he was spun around in a circle by 2 Demano Cubs. He was boiled alive to basically his spirit left. He was in love with his sister, and her and Monokuma basically salted him to he's vanquished. Also, it's just like, I don't know, it's just really emotional for me. It's not that I didn't like the character myself, personally. He was always so, I don't know. You knew there was something wrong with him, at least for me. But, yeah, there was that. Next is Kaede. She would have been number 1 if it weren't for Kyo, who died first. I mean, not first, who died. Because his was, Kaede would have been number 1, but Kyo took that place. Because she didn't murder, she didn't murder Rontaro. She didn't even hit him. She thought she did, but it was actually the mastermind, which I'm not going to say anymore, which you find out at the end of the game. Okay. And, she felt so bad. She thought everyone was going to hate her. And then also the fact that she was strangled and then she was killed by the spikes falling down on her was much for me. Even though I knew her death was coming because I saw it, but then when I watched Rasboski play, which I really liked his 3rd and 2nd playthrough. He didn't do the first one, so he played it though, so I recommend his channel too. Kaede, even though I watched Rasboski play, even though I saw death already and I watched Rasboski play it, I cried. Yeah, I cried. Okay, next on the list is Junko, the very first one, the very first death, when she does the ultimate punishment. Because 1, everyone else has done those punishments, died by that one specific punishment. She survived all of them. Which is crazy for me because except for the very last one, which got smashed. That and she was smiling the whole entire time. Gave me the freaks. Next on the list is Goton. Goton is my baby. Not literally, but he was like a cinnamon roll. He's so sweet and nice. He didn't even realize he killed Miu, which was a complete accident, which made no sense for me until they went through the evidence and yeah, he did it. And then he got killed by the thing he loves most, insects. And then he got burned after being stabbed by this giant insect that came out one Monami, I think it is. I would have to go back and check, but I think it was Monami. No, it wasn't Monami. Sorry, that's the wrong game. It's Mono something, I know that. Which was honestly the Mono Cubs, the last two, the pink and the red one, they had a freaky relationship. That was another thing I questioned. I'm not gonna bring it up in this video. Okay, so next is Chiaki's. Hers got me because I really liked her character because one, she was also a gamer, and I'm a gamer. Two, I really, I personally still do, but I ship Chiaki and Hajime. Love them two together because they got this really cute relationship. Used to be Mikan, but then Mikan, we'll get more on her later. But let's just say it changed with Mikan. And then also she was killed by, she was first trying to be killed with that target game where you have where the game kind of like where you had a spaceship and you have to shoot things. Then she got chased by like giant Pac-Man, and then she got killed by Tetris. A little much. It got me. Especially how I never suspected her being a traitor at all. And I was like, I'm the traitor, dead. It sucks. Next is Teru. Teru, I felt bad because he wanted to see his mom. Because he believed what Monokuma said, which was their motive, and he killed so he can see his mama again. It wasn't sad. It just made me want chicken nuggets after. Because it's like deep fried Teru. He looked like a giant chicken nugget. And that's all I gotta say. Next is Mondo's punishment. So his is on the list because at 7. He would have normally been lower because I personally didn't like his character at all. I'm trying not to be biased, but I personally didn't like it. But the fact he got turned to butter after just riding in the cage death, I gotta put it higher. Besides, when you look at the other punishments, it's like, yeah, it wasn't much. Next is the Danganronpa 3, the ultimate punishment when Kibo dies. This gave me the feels. The fact that Junko died again, and she was Smoothie. I cannot say her name. I apologize to people who are gonna put hate comments in the comments like, oh, you didn't say their names right, or you're saying it wrong, and your audio sucks. Sorry. I'm new. My way of saying names is not the greatest. Sometimes I can barely pronounce people's names right. But that and Kibo, I was hoping he'd survive because he's a little robot and stuff. But the fact that he sacrificed his life so everyone else could escape, well, not including Junko, but you know what I mean. Yeah. Next on the list is Gundam. Oh my gosh. Gundam, I loved him. I also liked, I'm using his nickname Soda. I like Soda. Because he was just psycho. Well, not like, I'm gonna kill you psycho, but more like hyper psycho. Like hyper, bouncing up by screaming, being a normal perv. That kind of psycho. And Gundam, his punishment. I thought his hamsters were gonna get killed too. I don't know if anyone else thought that. But when he left his hamster behind, and the fact that they were crying when Gundam died, I thought he was gonna survive. But then his magic didn't work, and then the animals took him up in the air. Ooh, that was heartfelt warming. And the fact that Sonia now walked the hamsters occasionally, it was so sweet. It made me miss him more. Okay, next, Leon. I watched the trial, and right before his death execution, I hated him. He's like, oh, it was self-defense. You stabbed her. She was terrified. Also, it's this high because I actually didn't know this till recently. I know everyone's like, oh yeah, you can. I didn't know you could get killed by a baseball. I actually, after I saw this the very first time, I looked up, hey, can you get killed by a baseball? There was someone who died by a baseball pitch. I know everyone probably knew this already, but I actually didn't know. So next is Kaito. Kaito's is this low. He would have been higher if his execution actually worked, because he's an astronaut. I like him. He had this quirky style, but his execution didn't work. I would have taken him off the list for that, but he did die during the execution, but not by the execution, so that's why he's still on the list. And the fact that he was smiling when he left, it was like he was ready to die because he was already sick and was coughing blood. Which my question for that is, anyone who knows the reason why, if you can tell me, why is the blood pink? Except for in Leon's, when you see like a blood splatter, it's a dark, almost black red. But then when you see it after, when the baseball rolls, it's pink, or like a pinkish red. But every time you see blood, it's pink. Anyone can explain why? But him smiling and laying there, and then seeing Monokuma mad because the execution didn't work and do what it's supposed to do, it was like, yes. He didn't win an execution. He still died though, so it was sad because I really didn't want him to die, but he was already ready to die. Not taking that in a bad way. He was just like, he was already ready. He was like, let's get this over with. Let's go. Let's do this punishment. Speaking of his punishment, next on the list is Blast Off. If you play the intro of the very first game, you're going to see a guy blindfolded and tied to a chair. And then he gets doing Kaito's punishment, but Kaito goes underground, and the other guy, I think it's Jin Kiri, goes up in space, and then he actually gets turned into bones. A lot of these I had a random listing for, letting you know. So actually, if you would in the comments, tell me how would you rank all of these in the comments. Next on the list after that one is Pekko's. Pekka would have been higher, but I don't know why, but I put her at 13. The fact that she cut Fuyuhiko, I said that right. And then, because they were childhood best friends, I shipped them two together. Still do to this day. The fact that she died, and we all thought until Monomi brought the rule, hey, you can't kill anyone but the Blackened in an execution. Fuyuhiko survived. That we thought he was gonna die, so I was worried. Next on the list is Kurumi, or Kirumi. How do you say that name? She's 14 because hers was simple. It was a witch burning and then get hit by a fire truck. Nothing much to it. The fact she was smiling, it just, was just that. Just the punishment. Next is Mikan. Mikan, she went insane. Hers made me uncomfortable because when they were doing the Bye Bye Ouchie's execution, she didn't really die. She just got sent to space on a fist. And it was very sexual. When you look at Mikan, it got very sexual. That's why she's this low. Next is Alter Ego. That's what they literally call his alter ego. She's at 17 because it's not a real person. Yes, she got killed, technically quote unquote killed, but it was just turned into like a Monokuma ball. It wasn't really the actual person dying. Next on the list is Kyoko. Kyoko is slow because hers are simple. Just ride a conveyor belt while not looking, and then smash. You're dead. Finally on this list is Junko killed by Monami. I put this one last because for me, it didn't feel like a real death. Monami quote unquote killed her, but it more looked like a virtual kill rather than what others see when you see the other deaths. Being hit by baseballs, being smashed to death, smashed by a rock, all that stuff. So that's why it's the last on the list. So that's all I have for you today. If you want, I will in another video I can rate everyone's deaths. Now you may notice I put the other after school lesson, I forget his first name. I didn't put him because he didn't die. He actually survived to the end. Because technically his was going to be an execution, but his execution didn't go through like it was supposed to. That's the only reason why his is on the list. Kind of like Junko, because Junko technically died. She got killed by spikes. But she was actually alive in the end. That's another reason. So, thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe and comment down below what video I should do next. If I should rate the games, if I should rate my characters, just not their executions. Comment down below what I should do next. Thanks for watching. Bye!